October 19th is the last day that Out of Stock is on view at Contemporary Arts Museum Houston. Make plans now because this exhibition is fantastic and features work from teens across our city. But it's not just for younger audiences. This exhibit is for everyone and focuses on themes of consumption. I really enjoyed it. Again, you only have until this Sunday, October 19th to see it. Contemporary Arts Museum Houston is open Wednesday through Sunday, and admission is always free. Learn more at camh.org. This Dia de los Muertos, experience Dia in downtown. 4 days of culture, color, and connection will fill the heart of Houston. From blanket bingo and cocoa under the stars to Una Noche in Market Square Park. And of course, the 5th annual Dia de Muertos Parade and Festival. Plus, there's going to be live music and more at Discovery Green. Explore decorated storefronts in downtown and honor loved ones through art, music, and tradition. Celebrate life. Dia in downtown, October 30th through November 2nd. Visit downtownhouston.org/dia for more details. Downtown Houston, get energized and revived. Today on CityCast Houston, we instantly think of New York and Broadway when we talk about live theater. But H-Town is a rising star in the theater scene. Hillary Hart, the executive director of Theater Under the Stars, is joining me to lay out just how impactful our scene is, the biggest challenges right now, and what shows you need to watch this season. It's Thursday, October 16th. I'm Raheel Ramzanali, and here's what Houston's talking about. Hillary, I am so excited to have you on and learn about our wonderful scene here. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat and learn about our wonderful theater scene. And there's a lot in town, by the way. And I feel like Houstonians, myself included, we really don't understand the scope of the industry here. Just how big is it?
It's actually huge. Being the third largest city in the nation, I think we don't do ourselves the justice that we should when it comes to touting the art and cultural scene here. I think we're really good about talking about our restaurants, and we're good about talking about all of the other different industries that our incredible city represents. But I think with art and culture, there are more than 500 performing arts organizations across Houston. And that includes
500?
Yeah. That includes everything from dance to chamber orchestras to large-scale symphonies, of course, Theater Under the Stars, ballet. I mean, it's pretty impressive, the offerings that we have, and quite frankly, the diversity of the offerings that we have here.
So with all of these venues, with all of these organizations that are focused on the arts, what's the economic impact of all of this?
It's huge. Art and culture in the city of Houston every single year contributes about $1.4 billion.
Whoa.
That's just to our local economy. And that's everything from direct expense and revenue generation all the way to about $200,000 or so in local taxes every year. But yeah, we're a $1.4 billion industry to Houston.
That is incredible. $1.4 billion.
Yeah.
Where does that put us in the grand scope of things, like nationally? Because as I mentioned, Broadway is what we immediately think of, but there's some other big cities, Chicago, Los Angeles, obviously. But where's that $1.4 billion economic impact put us in the grand scheme?
I would say we are in the top 8 in terms of economic impact across the country. Obviously, you're talking about urban density and the population of New York City and Los Angeles being slightly larger, or in some cases quite a bit larger than what we currently are right now. But, art and culture in our state represents about 2.8% of our total added value to our state's, GDP. So it's interesting. I would say we're in the top 8 markets, for economic impact and kind of overall impact, certainly number of jobs. 1 in every 14 Texans is an artist. So when you're talking about things that might help inform public policy, people who vote on a regular basis, we actually, as an industry, have a pretty powerful voice.
That's really cool. One of my favorite memories of going to New York is you can walk down any street, it seems like, and there is some sort of production. And you're like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I can just go watch this show. And it doesn't have to be the big shows like The Lion King or Hamilton. It's just like smaller shows, right? And as I started to get more familiar with our theater scene, I found out that we have a similar thing here. Like, of course, it's not just walking down a street because we're not a walking city, but you can go to so many different places to watch smaller productions. They don't have to be grand again. Where do we rank in terms of just the amount of productions that we put on in a year versus the bigger cities?
I would say that we are just as prolific. The difference is perception. That's really all it is. It's the difference is perception because we don't have that urban density. Like when you describe New York, you think about it, when they build up. And here in Houston, we build out. And so there isn't that high concentration of art or individuals or experiences in a 3-square block the way there is in New York or even Chicago, or even quite frankly, in some places in Los Angeles. We don't have that. But the art, the product, the experiences, the opportunities to engage in those ways absolutely 100% exist in the same volume. It's just the perception of it is it's not concentrated, so you don't see it.
Okay, the same volume, huge economic impact. This is kind of playing out that we could be the next Broadway. Am I off here?
Why not?
What would it take?
Not a lot, actually. I think, part of it has to do, it's all about branding, right? It's about brand awareness. It's about marketing. It's about messaging. It's about highlighting and supporting Houston arts and artists and the incredible diverse culture that is represented in our city in a more meaningful way across many, many platforms. It's about becoming a priority to citywide marketing projects, plans, campaigns, things of that nature. It's about having these wonderful opportunities like what you're providing me right now so that I have a platform on which I can actually help promote the incredible work that's happening in our city right now.
I'm glad that we can help, but it comes down to the city as well. That's a big player in all of this. Like, how is the city doing? Because I remember Mayor Turner was all in on the arts. Like, that was his thing. And, God bless his soul. He was so in with the arts. There were so many grants being given out, not necessarily just for theater, but all art. How is the city doing now when it comes to making Houston this destination for theater and our theater scene?
Well, I think it's really interesting. I mean, to be fair, we are in a very different world right now than we were when Mayor Turner was here. And that, has as much to do with external forces that have nothing to do with the city of Houston as it does with perhaps different priorities of the current administration, and I think we, in all fairness, have to be cognitive of the fact that there are competing priorities and we are just one of them, I would say that generally speaking, though, the city is incredibly supportive of the arts. I think that we as arts leaders and creators maybe have not had the right opportunities or consistent opportunities. I don't think we've done the best job that we can do in giving people the resources and the tools that they need in order to be more supportive and certainly to be able to help promote in bigger, better ways than they have in the past. And so we've been working, actually, we have 7 designated cultural districts across Houston, and that is the most in the state in one city. And one of the great things that came out of the pandemic is the collaboration between the 7 cultural districts. And so we now have this new advocacy body called HUARTS, HOUARTS, that is doing a lot of this advocacy work, this education work, creating opportunities for us as collaborators to come together on a regular basis, share our story, share our toolkits, so that we're actually helping our city promote us better. There's some really great work happening right now around how do we position ourselves? Like, we're probably not going to be you're going to come to Houston for 2 weeks on vacation. We're not that city, we're not. But what we are is that extended weekend vacation, or maybe it's that long week vacation, right?
Yeah.
And so how can we leverage art and culture as part of promoting that?
If you're anything like me, then you're always looking for design inspiration. And one way to get that is during the 2025 AIA Houston Home Tour. From October 18th through the 19th, this self-guided tour gives you the rare chance to step inside some of the city's most stunning custom homes, all crafted by some of Houston's top architects. Whether you're dreaming up your own perfect space or just love exploring amazing designs like I do, this tour is a must. Each home is a masterpiece showcasing the collaboration between homeowners, architects, and builders. And the best part, you can chat with the architects right there on site. So you can get tips, ask questions, and soak up all the creative vibes so maybe you can start designing that perfect space in your home. Don't miss out on this unique experience. Get your discounted tickets right now before October 17th before the prices go up. Head to AIAHouston.org for tickets and information. That's the AIA Houston Home Tour, October 18th through the 19th. You won't want to miss it. Have you heard that the Houston Cinema Arts Festival is back? Presenting organization Houston Cinema Arts Society is all about positioning Houston as a premier fine arts destination, championing untold and underrepresented stories, both locally, regionally, and from around the world, all by connecting through one of my favorite mediums, cinema. The Houston Cinema Arts Festival is November 6th through the 16th at venues all around town, with this year's theme being Here, an exploration of what it means to be present, shaped by experience, and navigating the uncertainty of our time. Join cinephiles, movie lovers, filmmakers, and art champions at the official lineup release party at Artec House in the Heights on Wednesday, October 15th. You'll find out what feature films, shorts, documentaries, film competitions, live performances, workshops, and visual art events make up this year's Houston Cinema Arts Festival. Go to cinemahtx.org to learn more. Find your fall vibes in Pearland with October events worth getting out of the house for. Pearland Restaurant Weeks runs through October 31st with 19 participating restaurants and curated meals benefiting the Pearland Neighborhood Center. Prepare for a ghostly good time at the Hops and History Cemetery Tour on October 18th and 24th. Partake in a hike through history from Valentin's Brewing Company to Pearland's oldest cemetery, led by special pathfinders from the past, hear from early Pearland residents, and enjoy a cold beverage back at the brewery. Gather your shopping buddies and join Pearland Boutiques on October 24th and 25th for the Pearland Boutique Shop and Hop. Enjoy drinks, snacks, and incredible shopping while exploring the city and completing your event passport. Find more details about all of Pearland's pumpkin spice fueled activities at visitpearland.com/events. That's visitpearland.com/events. One thing that I've noticed is that when I'm around, for example, I went to the Wizard of Oz at AD Players, and I'm looking at the cast, and it's so much local talent. It was amazing to see that, the lead is from here, and this character went to the University of Houston. It seems like we have done a good job of providing jobs for everyone in front of the camera, right, quote unquote, and behind the scenes as well when it comes to our theater scene. Was that something that the arts have focused on?
It depends on the organization. I mean, certainly we at TuTs are hypersensitive to the fact that we want to encourage and to support our local artist community and keep artists local here to Houston, as opposed to them feeling compelled to have to go to New York or Chicago or Los Angeles or somewhere else, right? But I do think that that is something, again, one of the things, the best kept secrets maybe, is the depth and breadth of our local talent. It's really incredible. I mean, we right now, we have a commitment to a minimum of 50% local artists in every single thing that we do. Usually it ends up being closer to 75, 85% of our total talent pool on any given production. But yeah, we believe that Houston is incredibly rich. And I'm just going to say, from my own personal, while I love New York, I love Chicago, I love Los Angeles, I love a lot of the places where art and culture is celebrated. I will say that I don't think those are the litmus to what is great, right? Like, we've grown up our whole lives thinking that, well, if it doesn't do well on Broadway, then it's not worth it. And I think that is folly. I think that, the idea, and kind of to your question earlier about what would it take for Houston to become the next Broadway, it's here. I mean, we've got all of the assets. It's really just about doing better, about promoting them and using and leveraging those assets. And that includes local talent, 100%.
Gotcha. What about new plays? Like, new things are always bringing in new people, but is that something that we could be better at? Like, more new productions?
I do think so. I mean, I think there's a balance, right? I think there is something to be said about helping to create the next generation of the canon, right? There is a point at which, you've cycled through the existing canon. And I also think because art tends to be an opportunity for reflection or for sharing experiences with each other, that it is important to create new works that are relevant to, that have topics that are relevant to things that are happening in quote unquote modern day, right? Contemporary pieces. But I will also say there's something quite valuable about looking at what we term the classics through the lens of a different storyteller, meaning what does South Pacific look like as a story through the lens of and the eyes of a South Pacific or a Islander. That's a different. You're not changing the content, but it is a different perspective.
Yeah, and I think it also opens up the door for more diverse roles and
For sure.
diverse actors and actresses. I want to talk about challenges. You've hinted at some of the challenges that our scene faces in terms of marketing, getting more people in, getting more people to recognize that we're so great at this. What are some of the other challenges that we're facing right now?
I mean, I don't know if you read the New York Times, but there are specifically doing what we here at TuTs do, which is producing and creating musical theater. There are a lot of economic challenges and realities that are coming to bear, especially post-pandemic. I think there were challenges that are not so different now as they were pre-pandemic, but the pandemic accelerated the timeline by which the challenges are being experienced. And so when you look at the rate of inflation over the last 5 years, when you look at what it actually costs us to produce and to meaningfully employ artists to make what we do, keeping them at what would be livable wages versus the rate at which ticket prices have increased or the rate at which philanthropy has decreased or changed, depending on what area of philanthropy you're looking at. There's a real challenge in just the basic business model of what we do. Because there is a point, where I'm just like you and just like any other family. I have a family that's like any other family in the city of Houston where we have only so much disposable income. It does not go as far as it used to. And so if it's the difference between, picking, quite frankly, groceries or gasoline over getting to do something like engage with the arts, which is something that I could more easily do 5 years ago. What do you think I'm going to do? So we want to be careful when we, especially as a nonprofit regional theater that is here to serve Houston. I mean, TuTs is for Houston, by Houston. We want to make sure that we're not accidentally pricing ourselves out of the market or we're not creating a barrier to access to what we do, whether that's a show that we produce or we have 2 year-round training programs that we run. We want to make sure that our community is able to access that. And so yeah, there's some basic economic challenges that our industry nationwide is facing.
And I think that economical reckoning is going to hit a lot of disposable income streams, right? Like I'm thinking about the arts, unfortunately, the Houston Rodeo even next year, like that's a different conversation. So it's something that a lot of companies, a lot of organizations are going to have to deal with. And how do you combat that? Like, how do you bring in new audiences? Like, what can be done? What are y'all doing? What are other companies doing to bring in new people to spend that money?
Well, I think it's, certainly the economics are a challenge, but I will say that one of the biggest challenges that live performing arts organizations face right now is the competition, not with each other, but with Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus. We got very comfortable for 2 years when we weren't allowed to go do anything of staying at home and hanging out and staying in my pajamas all day. And so we are having to retrain our brains, me included, right? We have to retrain our brains to what it means because we are, as a society, as a species, we are tactile and we do actually require human interaction, whether we think we do or not. And so there's multiple challenges, but I would say to more directly answer your question about what are we doing, I think it is about making sure that you are finding ways to stay relevant to the community that you're serving. Part of that is what kind of stories are you telling? What, as I kind of mentioned before, what is the lens through which you are telling those stories? Who are you including? As you look at the arc of a season, are you telling a complete story for your community, or are you focusing very specifically on just one aspect? An example of some of the programs that we do, one of our training programs is called The River, and it uses musical theater and the visual arts to provide arts access and arts education to our ADA and IDD populations here in Houston. So it's like making sure, again, it's that idea of inclusion with a capital I, right?
Yeah.
Like whatever that means to you, we want to make sure here at TuTs that you have a home here, that we don't stand on ceremony, that despite this, beautiful big building that we're in, this is your home for musical theater.
Yeah, I love that everyone's doing different things.
Yeah.
Pay what you can days, those are really important. Singles meetup days, I've seen those as well.
Sure.
Bring your kids days, like there's something for everyone. And it is nice to have those days to feel included, right? Is immersion another thing? Like immersive theater, is that something that we've jumped on that trend? Because I remember going to New York City to watch Fuerza Bruta, and that was like as immersive as it gets. If you've never heard of this show, you're literally getting like water, smoke, the actors are on top of you. It's so wild. But that was a memorable experience. And if there was something like that here, I would be like, you have to go check this out. Is that something that we're doing?
I think that there are some organizations that are doing it. Certainly at TuTs, we have some future plans that will create platforms and opportunities by which people can engage in a variety of different ways. And certainly the idea of leveraging emerging technology into layering it into what we do, not in lieu of, but in support of the in-person experience.
All right, this is the season to go check out a production. I really start ramping up and putting, dates on my calendar. Like, I need to go watch this show. I need to go check out this. I want to check out this performance, that performance, right? And I need your help. And I think our listeners need help now, especially after hearing just how wonderful our scene is and how it does need support right now. So we want to go support the arts. I'm going to lean on you. Give me 3 shows/productions that we need to check out to end 2025.
I would say certainly just speaking from a Theater Under the Stars perspective, we start rehearsal today for Spelling Bee, which is super exciting and fun. And because it's super accessible, speaking of immersive, it's interactive with the audience. So there's an opportunity if you want to actually engage with the artists and the art on stage. And it's also a super easy, like digestible show. It's so funny. It's so funny.
Are they going to make me spell if I'm in the audience? Because I am not going if you're going to put me on the spot.
Only if you want to. They're not going to nobody's going to randomly grab you from the audience, but we do have some audience participation opportunities. Cool. And it's fun. It's really, and it's just a funny show. It's a good night out. And then, cool. Of course, we have White Christmas coming up, which is a perennial holiday favorite. It's so lovely. And then, I would say that there are a number of things across the fall and going into the holidays that people should come experience that are low to no cost opportunities. Everything from a lot of the programming, and I'm not going to remember all of the names of it, but they're doing a ton of programming over on Discovery Green this year. You've got programming and a lot of opportunity happening over at the Post. And then, of course, you've got always the annual production of the Houston Ballet's Nutcracker, which is just stunning and just beautiful. And then, of course, the symphony does some really beautiful work as well. I mean, I think, again, it's so hard for me to say because I'm going to go see all of it. I'm also going to go see shows at Ensemble, and I'm going to go see shows at 80 Players, and I'm going to go see shows. I love all of it. So it's really hard for me to narrow it down to just 2 or 3 because I think, again, the more you integrate art and art experiences into your life, the more rich your life becomes. So
it's so great. And here's one other tip. If you have a local high school, go support them as well. It's so great for them to have a big crowd.
Yes, and do it because of the Tommy Tune Awards. So I don't know if you know, but we do an annual thing every year where it's like the Tonys meets the loudest pep rally you have ever heard in your entire life. You have to come.
That is so cool.
So much fun. But we had this last year, more than 5,000 area high school students participate from 66 different local area high schools. And we raise money and give scholarship. It's a scholarship awards program, but it celebrates high school musical theater that happens from now until April. Yeah.
That is amazing. 5,000 students participate. It's great. Wild. My oldest daughter's in choir, so they'll team up with the middle school and high school to do their winter performances. And of course, you start talking to the teachers and you're like, hey, why don't you come watch this production? and you go roll up, and it is so much fun to watch these high schoolers put on a show, and they just appreciate every single person in the audience as well. It's amazing. Like, it's so much fun. You have to do it.
Texas high school theater is competitive.
Yeah.
And it is pretty amazing what these high school kids are able to accomplish on shoestring budgets and a prayer. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, they make it work. They make it work. And, they're the future of this beautiful, thriving industry that we have here in the city of Houston. And, that's how we get better, right? We support them at a young age, and a couple of years from now, we're the next Broadway. And we're having this conversation again, just saying how thriving the arts are and how amazing the scene is. I've learned so much. I can't wait to go support the arts like I always do, but I'm going to go even harder this year. It's amazing to see what y'all are doing at TuTs, what we're doing across the city. Hillary, thank you so much for joining me. That was a blast.
Thank you. I had such a good time.
That was Hillary Hart. She's the executive director at Theater Under the Stars. Check out her recommendations for this season with the links in our show notes. That will do it for today. I'm Raheel Ramzanali. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something new. One in 14 Texans, they are considered artists. And this could be dancers, actors, actresses,
graphic designers,
podcast hosts.
Yes, 100%. 100% you do.